Tommy DeVito signing, all good stuff. As you take a look at tonight's NFL preseason game, certainly have quite a few on deck that we're going to talk about. Don't know if we'll get as much personality in any of these games tonight, but we do have some good personality from our good friend and NFL writer John Breach, who's stopping by with a look ahead at some of those games tonight. No Jameis, John. We're going to avoid that and move on. But we are going to talk about the Bears and the Chiefs. We're going to see the starters on both sides of this matchup here. What's the biggest thing you're looking for on either side of this matchup?
Well, I think it's absolutely the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. We saw him make his preseason debut last week against the Buffalo Bills. But guess what? The Bills didn't play any of their starters, so that wasn't too difficult of a challenge for that Bears offense. That being said, Williams did look good, which is exactly what you want when you are playing an opponent who has their second or third team out there. And the fact that he was running Ben Johnson's offense, it's the first time that we got to see it in a game situation, and he ran it well, which is what you want to see if you're a Bears fan. So now Caleb Williams is going to be tested because the Chiefs should have their defensive starters out there for at least one possession, maybe the entire first quarter. And so you just want to see that he could do tonight what he did last week. So if Caleb Williams continues to evolve in this Ben Johnson system and runs the offense smoothly, then you are going to be happy if you are a fan in Chicago. And then defensively for the Bears, if Patrick Mahomes is playing tonight, if you end your preseason by keeping Patrick Mahomes out of the end zone, that's a great way to be going into the regular season. So I would say that the team to watch is the Bears. We know what the Chiefs are. We know who Patrick Mahomes is. The Bears are the young team. They have a lot to prove. They're coming off a 5-win season. They have a new head coach. So this is a way for them to end the preseason on a high note.
8:20 Eastern from Arrowhead. Curious if our new cover 2 queen, Taylor Swift, is going to be in attendance for this game, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's go to the one on CBS next, John. Vikings at Titans. It's going to kick off a few minutes before the game we just talked about there. We know Cam Ward is going to get the start. Still haven't seen him throw a touchdown pass in this preseason, so obviously he'll be looking to do that tonight, John. But what else do you want to see out of the number 1 pick?
Well, it's just the way he runs the offense there. You look at what the Titans are trying to do. If Cam Ward is struggling, that offense is just not going to be good. And you look at what the Titans have done during the preseason, that first game against the Buccaneers, Cam Ward didn't look bad, 5 of 8 for 67 yards. But then he came back against the Falcons last week, and it felt like he took a small step back. He had a 35-yard pass, I think, on his first play of the game. But after that, he closed out the game by completing just 1 of 6 passes for 7 yards. So you want to see a little bit more of that from your number 1 overall pick. And then when you consider that he's been on the field for 5 possessions this preseason, he's only led 1 scoring drive, he's only thrown 1 touchdown pass. So I think if you are Titans coach Brian Callahan, what you want to see is Cam Ward put together a whole entire drive, put some points on the board, whether it's field goals, touchdowns, anything. You just want to help this offense build some confidence heading into week 1 of the regular season.
Our Charles Davis going to be on the call for that one. He sat down with Cam Ward, had a great conversation as well. That one getting underway at 8 Eastern. Let's talk Eagles at Jets. It's going to give us a chance to get our first look of John Mechie III in Philly. Of course, he joined the Birds earlier this week via trade. How do you see him fitting into this wide receiver room, John?
Well, I think when you look at Mechie, obviously, and the Eagles have a great receiving room. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, their top 3 spots, John Dotson, are kind of spoken for. So can Mechie be that number 4 guy? And this is kind of the perfect situation to break in with Philadelphia if you are Mechie, because there's absolutely no pressure on him in this game. He has only been to 2 practices since he's been traded. He's still learning the offense, but if he can go out there, catch 1 or 2 passes and just kind of make it look like that he's already getting along and understanding this offense so far, that's definitely a huge step forward, because then you have almost 2 weeks to prepare for that opener against the Cowboys. So I think if Mechie is out there and shows that he is picking up the offense already, that's definitely a good sign since he's been there barely a week.
Texans, of course, traded Mechie and a 2026 sixth-rounder to Philly in exchange for Harrison Bright and a tight end and a 2026 fifth-rounder. Of course, you mentioned it. The Eagles going to open the season against my Dallas Cowboys on September 4th. And, John, it just seems like this team can't get out of its own way. Just when you think there's going to be some progress, a step in the wrong direction after Jerry Jones revealed some important information to the playmaker about an extension with Micah Parsons on his podcast. I want you to take a listen.
We've got this thing resolved in my mind for the Dallas Cowboys. And we've got it done. And if the agent wants to finish up the detail, which he should, and do all the paperwork, and he can do that. And we're ready to go. But as far as the amount of money, the years, the guarantees, all of that, we negotiate that. When we wanted to send the details to the agent told us to stick it up our ass.
Wait, now, see, I was
Just so you're clear.
Wait. What do you mean? So wait, what do you mean? Because people going to ask.
Mike and I talked, and then we were going to send it over to the agent. And we had our agreements on term, amount, guarantees, everything. We were going to send it over to the agent. And the agent said, don't bother because we've got all that to negotiate. Well, I'd already negotiated. I'd already moved off my mark on several areas.
There's a lot to process there, John, but as someone who has worked for Jerry Jones, I can tell you that these tirades like this, they happen often for Jerry. I'm curious here, has it swayed your opinion at all about the Micah Parsons saga here? Where do you stand after learning this new information from Jerry?
Well, I stand that Jerry Jones should ban himself from appearing on former players' podcasts when he's in the middle of a contract negotiation. No good can come out of it, Haley, because he says things like that, sticks his foot in the mouth. And to be honest, when you look at this situation, it had been pretty quiet for the past few weeks. And it was one of those things where it felt like no news is good news. Maybe they will eventually get a deal done, that Jerry Jones drops a nuclear bomb on things with these comments and essentially throwing Micah Parsons' agent under the bus. And look, Jerry, we know that you met with Micah Parsons back in March and you think you hammered out a deal, but Micah Parsons is pretty clear that that was not the deal and that you actually have to call his agent and negotiate with his agent. That is why players have agents, so that they don't have to negotiate their own deal. And so what all this has done is thrown a wrench into the Cowboys opener. They have to play a game in less than 2 weeks. Even if the two sides somehow got a contract done this weekend, Micah Parsons is not going to be in football shape by the time the Cowboys take the field in Philadelphia against the Eagles when they raise their Super Bowl banner, one that the Cowboys haven't won in 30 years. So there is just a lot going on here, and Micah Parsons deleting them from his social media profile. I mean, it gets